There are 5 weekends in July and I've spent 3 of them at the theatre. So to find out what I thought about them, make sure you keep watching. Hello and welcome back to Life of Soph. I am Soph and I do videos on shopping, travel, Disney, and also videos like this. So first up, I want to talk to you about Witness for the Prosecution. I saw this show at London's County Hall, which was just the perfect location for it. If you've ever been to County Hall, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If not, I'll insert some pictures and the video footage I took here. Essentially, it seems that it was previously the council chambers, so the actual theatre was set within this huge room that really does resemble kind of what you think of as a traditional oldie-worldy courtroom. If I say so myself, the seats that I booked were amazing. I went with my mum and my sister and we had a row of just 3 seats kind of up in the balcony looking straight over, and it was brilliant. The only thing to say is that we're all quite small and there are like tables in front of you, so at some points we did have to lean forwards, but ultimately I didn't feel that it impacted the viewing experience. The play itself is based on a book by Agatha Christie called Witness for the Prosecution, and I didn't really know the storyline leading up to it. Essentially, the story is of a man who is accused of murdering a wealthy old woman who is a friend of his, and we follow everything from just before his arrest all the way through his trial up until the end. One thing that's really cool about this show is that they actually have members of the audience to act as the jury, so I can only presume that they have 2 different endings depending on whether the jury/audience choose that they're guilty or not guilty. In typical Agatha Christie style, there were twists and turns everywhere, and I also have to give a massive shout out to the cast because they gave a fantastic performance. Dramatic but also quite funny in places, which I really appreciated. And of course, there was a twist at the end. All in all, it was an absolutely brilliant show, and if you love the theatre, if you love a whodunit, if you love a thriller, a mystery, a little bit of comedy thrown in, definitely go and see Witness for the Prosecution at London's County Hall Theatre. And I would definitely go and see it again, actually. Next, I went to see Chicago at the New Theatre in Oxford. Again, I went with my mum and my sister. I've never actually seen Chicago before. Please don't judge me. As a fan of musicals, I've got no idea how I managed to miss it. So I didn't really know the storyline. I knew all that jazz, obviously, and the He Had It Coming song. I can't remember what it's called. And I think there was another couple of songs in there that I knew from being a Glee fan from back in the day. But it was brilliant. It was really gripping, and the dance talent of that cast, I mean, bravo. I said that they must be absolutely exhausted at the end of every show because there's so much involved, but it's so captivating to watch because it's so well executed. I also really loved that they had the band bang smack in the middle of the stage so you could see them at all times, and the conductor also had a little bit of a role, which again just added to kind of the comedy aspect to it. The songs were brilliant and the cast again were absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, we saw, I think, the only show that didn't have Sunita, but the lady who played the part of the mama was amazing, and to be honest, I can't imagine anybody else doing as well as she'd done it. I'm sure Sunita did, but this cover or understudy was absolutely amazing. Like I said, I haven't seen the film before or any other performances, but one comment that I had was that it seemed very kind of, this is this song and now we're going into the next scene and then the next scene and the next scene. It was very kind of fragmented in a way. My sister has seen the film and she said that the film flows much better, but I didn't necessarily see a problem with it. As I said, I still enjoyed it. And if you're a fan of Chicago, I've got no doubt that you'll enjoy it. I think it's too late to see this one now. After they left Oxford, they were going to Wales, and then I believe that was the last announced tour date. So unfortunately, it might be too late for that. But if it comes back, definitely go and see it, because seeing it in front of you on stage is amazing. And I'm now very excited to watch the film to see how that compares. And this is another one that I would go and see again. And finally, I saw School of Rock at the Liverpool Empire. I went to this one with my partner, and we've both seen the film School of Rock. We've never seen the musical. There's a bit of a backstory to this. We were meant to go and see it in March 2019, just before COVID hit. In any event, it was cancelled because Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cinderella was coming to the Gillian Lynne Theatre, so we wouldn't have been able to see it even if COVID hadn't been a thing. So I bought us tickets for his birthday, which was earlier in the year, and he absolutely loves Liverpool, so we took the opportunity to go up there. I don't think I've ever been to a theatre that's as massive as the Liverpool Empire. I couldn't quite believe it when we went in. We were, I don't know if it was classed as circle or grand circle, but we were up quite high, and there were so many children in the audience of kind of all ages as well. From the youngest was probably about 6 or so, right up to young teenagers, maybe 12, 13, and then obviously lots of adults as well. You cannot talk about School of Rock without talking about the talent of the children in it. There's an announcement right at the start from Andrew Lloyd Webber, who, if you didn't know, kind of co-produced the musical, and he says that all of the instruments played by the children in the show are real and they are playing them live. There's actually only about 4 or 5 children that do play instruments, but even so, they play them absolutely phenomenally, so huge props to them. And the guy who plays Dewey, the main character, is as close to Jack Black as you can get. He absolutely personifies the character, and he was such a perfect casting. The great thing about School of Rock is that it really is family friendly, so obviously we went as a couple. I think I enjoyed it more than my partner because I think it was a little bit too kind of immature, childish for him, but I thought it was brilliant. The songs were great, it was really funny. It has been a long time since I've seen the film, so I couldn't comment on the differences between them, although the song that they perform at the Battle of the Bands at the end, I'm 99% sure that that is the same because it was ringing a bell somewhere deep in my brain. But all in all, I think it was a fantastic show, and I believe it's still on tour, so if it's coming somewhere near you, then definitely book tickets and go, especially if you've got children. The only thing I would say is that there was a little girl in the row in front of us who was probably 6 or 7, and she was starting to get kind of fidgety. She was also kind of dancing and kind of speaking, and I think she didn't really understand the etiquette of the theatre, which is understandable, you know, she was only young, but I feel like perhaps it went on a bit too late. It was an evening performance, and it was also a Friday night, so, you know, if they've been at school during the day, then they may well be exhausted and not be able to concentrate very well. So if you have got children, just bear that in mind. Maybe go and see a matinee and see if your child can pay attention for kind of an hour and a half, which is what the first act usually is. The other thing to say is that this is the first time I've ever experienced a show stop. There was this piece of set that came on, and it came on lopsided, and I thought, you can see what's on the back of that. And the guy playing Dewey just huffed, got up and walked off stage. And I thought he seemed like he was genuinely really annoyed at something. And it was silent for a moment, and then the voiceover came on saying there's been a technical incident and the curtain came down. And all these years that I've been going to the theatre, I have never seen a show stop. They fixed it really quickly. It was kind of within 5 minutes. People had popped out to go to the toilet and stuff, but to be honest, it wasn't even down long enough for that. They came straight back on, and it went straight into a kind of high energy, intense scene. Again, shout out to the actors for not breaking character despite that break in the performance. And I hate to sound like a broken record, but I would definitely go and see this one again. All in all, it's been a productive month of theatre for me. If there's any shows that you think I should see, then make sure you leave them in the comments, because I am always looking for new shows to go and see. I absolutely love going to the theatre, especially to see a musical. If you want to see more about what we did for the rest of the weekend in Liverpool, then you can click here. And if you want to hear about my favourite musicals and the musicals that I'm desperate to see, make sure you press here. If you like this video, then please make sure you subscribe. You can click my face. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!